SEC stuff. Today we are breaking down the Oklahoma versus Alabama game. This is a big game for Oklahoma because they kind of need to win this to stay in playoff contention. Alabama technically could lose this. I wouldn't with going to Jordan O'Hare on your schedule. But this is going to be a really, really fun game. Oklahoma obviously last year handed Alabama a costly loss in Norman, which took them out of the playoffs. They literally went into Death Valley, beat LSU by a large margin. They thought, oh, we're going to cakewalk into the playoffs. Didn't happen that way. And Oklahoma was a big reason why. Also, Jalen Milrow, but wah, wah, whatever. But this is a huge game for Alabama. This is a huge game for Kalen DeBoer. They're still on that revenge tour, got revenge against Vandy. Now it's time to get revenge against OU. How do you feel about this game, Savannah?
Yeah, I feel strongly that Alabama is on their revenge tour and is going to keep it coming, to be totally honest. There's a lot of things I love about OU. There really is. I don't see them traveling to Tuscaloosa and getting the win, though. Alabama started off the season a little tough, right, with their loss to Florida State, but they have seriously, since that week in and week out, like been the Alabama that we know from the Nick Saban era, right? I hate to like compare it because DeBoer will never be Nick Saban. But like this is the Alabama team that I think fans and everyone was hoping that they would see from the switch over from Nick Saban to Kalen DeBoer.
Yeah, I think
Um,
it's quite shocking how
yeah,
smoothly, and I mean, knock on, I need to find wood, but like how smooth it's been just in the transition and how elite they have been considering you lost the greatest of all time. So it's been shocking in a good way for me. So
no, I think it's actually been incredible because nobody was ever going to be able to fill those shoes, right? Like no matter who it was never going to be good enough. It was never going to be what you wanted it to be. I get why Dan Lanning didn't want the job, right? But I'm incredibly impressed by the job that Kalen has, Coach DeBoer, excuse me, has done this year, especially. And I know people were down and out on them last year, but like it takes a second to make it your program, to build it to what you want it to be, to have it be the team that you need it to be. I think their offense is just on a roll. I think that their quarterback, he really has like found his stride. Obviously, Coach Cap, the offensive line coach at Alabama, is one of my favorite offensive line coaches in the country. But that offense has really found their stride, in my opinion, as the season's gone on, and so I think that fares well for them. What are your thoughts on that?
I originally was going into the season, I circled this game. I was like, this one's going to be a challenge, especially with John Mateer, especially with all the information we were getting about this team. Obviously, Venables creates championship level defenses. He did that at Clemson. So this is a very good team. John Mateer is still getting over that injury that he had, still recovering from that, but he's looked better. My thing with this game is I don't know how worried, and again, I wasn't worried last year, and you play the games and things happen
Yeah,
that you weren't expecting, but their biggest strength is their rushing defense. Alabama's biggest weakness is that we can't run the ball. So it's like the thing that makes them so great is something we can't even do. So I think this is a really good matchup for Alabama because we have been forced to win it with Ty Simpson's arm and being creative with plays. And I think if we continue doing that, they were a little rusty last week. I don't know if it's because of that bye week. I'm not always, especially into the playoffs, you saw that everybody who got a bye lost. So it's not always the best thing if you're building momentum, but they needed it because they came off that crazy gauntlet. But I think the offense was like warming back up. The defense, however, for Alabama looks elite. I don't know, they are opportunistic. They look good. They look scary. It was not there in week 1, but I think a lot of people wrote off Kane Womack. I've loved this guy. I think what he did last year with that defense, which is a very young defense, was fantastic. I think what he's done with this defense this year has been fantastic. Don't write these people off week to week. It's like I say it all the time, and I love TikTok, but we're so like it needs to happen now. It needs to happen now. And it's like that doesn't work. This is a learning experience. They're in school. But Oklahoma could win this game easily. I mean, there's different ways they can do it. I think if they force Mateer to throw this whole time, they're not going to win. So they have to be um, multi-dimensional here. They have to find creative ways to win. They have to get some key turnovers. I know they're great with their pass rush, so if they can get to Ty, if they can shake him up a little bit more than they did at LSU, then great. But I think the thing with Ty is he's great about resetting. He doesn't let a fumble that he has or a dropped pass or anything like that ruin the next play. He really is a play to play guy. And I think that's speaks volumes for his character. I think it'll speak volumes for when he goes to the NFL draft. I'm sad he's only going to be here 1 year because that guy is going. So I see that I kind of think this is going to be a win. I'm not super worried about it, but again, I wasn't worried last year.
Wasn't worried. Yeah, I feel like whenever we're not worried, then it's all of a sudden like, wow, I really should have been worried. Yes,
Yeah,
I will say this. And this is what I meant to say about Ty Simpson. Ever since the Georgia game, truly, like he has really been on.
yeah,
Have I will say this about the Oklahoma offense. I think Ben Arbuckle is a great offensive coordinator. He is young. He is like fresh. Like he brings all the things. I think that John Mateer not being 100% is just not boding well for the Oklahoma offense, to be 100% honest. I worry for that. I worry for Oklahoma because like I said, the Alabama offense looked very good against Georgia, and Georgia's defense is better than Oklahoma's defense, in my opinion. And also, Alabama's strength of schedule this year is in the top five. Oklahoma's strength of schedule is not that. And so I worry about that for them too. They just haven't been playing these caliber of games. One of their hardest games on their schedule was obviously the Red River Shootout, just because it's a rivalry. It's this, it's that, it's the things. They lost that. I know that they went to Tennessee and won. So they are a team that totally could come to Tuscaloosa and win. They really can. Alabama can be beatable. But I agree. I think Alabama's defense is just fresh and clean. Wow, like they really might be the best defense in the country right now. So it's going to be a tough one for the Sooners coming to Tuscaloosa, in my opinion, for sure. What are your thoughts on scores? Do you want to do a score prediction?
those are hard for me.
I know.
I never get them right. And then I'm like, "Oh,
No.
shucks." I think if OU is able to win the turnover battle, control the tempo, I mean, those are easy ways to win for any team. I think if they leverage Mateer's mobility, and Robinson's running ability, I think that they can disrupt this defense a lot. But this defense is really that swarm defense, and they come from everywhere, and I get scared. And it's like Nick Saban's old defense. And I'm wondering how much in his like advisory role he's playing a part in assisting with this team. I don't know if it's just for recruiting, or if he is being like sitting down with the coaches and saying, hey, if we tried this, have we tried this, and being that advisor to not just people coming in but also the coaches that are there. But gosh, I don't know, 27-14.
I love it. I love it. I am with you. Like score predictions stress me out. The spread is 5.5 for in Alabama's favor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they cover the spread, so I would guess something around the same place as you, to be honest. Like, yeah, it would be interesting if Oklahoma won. I know it's not a night game; it's at 3:30 slot, but I expect this to be a game that I wouldn't be worried about if I was an Alabama fan. But if I was an Oklahoma fan, I'd be like, this is a chance for an upset, and that is absolutely right. Like you said, why you play the game. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day. So
And they
it'll
need
be
to win it. That's my
yeah,
biggest thing with them is like this would keep them in playoff contention. Maybe not get them to the playoffs, but they need to win this game. So,
yes,
see, they're going to be fighting.
they will. They for sure will be. Yeah. Any final thoughts on the game? Things you want to share?
Roll Tide. I hope Caden Proctor gets the ball. That's always fun. I want him to get a touchdown at some point, maybe in the national championship. Again, knocking on wood. But no, get through Oklahoma. Again, this is going to be a hard team. Eastern Illinois, I'll be there. I go to the easy games where I can just like turn my brain off
Chill.
and
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah,
just enjoy the atmosphere.
yeah.
And then get ready for the Iron Bowl. I mean, that's always our Super Bowl is winning that. So we'll see. I would not underestimate this team, but I don't think that as a fan we should feel uncomfortable right now. A lot of things are going in Bama's favor. They just have to stay focused.
Yeah, totally. I think this is a game people think will be very offensive heavy, two good offenses, but I I think this comes down to defensive battle, in my opinion. So that's kind of my final thought. And that is us wrapping up and previewing the Oklahoma at Alabama game this weekend, 3:30 slot. Spread is 5.5 on SEC stuff.